Welcome to exoticcarplayplace, everyone. Thanks for joining in on this beautiful sunny afternoon. Today we will talk about it's time to own a luxury car that you can actually love. Let's get into it now. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Mark with Exotic Car Play Place. In today's marketplace, and marketers are so crafty, they get people buying cars sometimes that they don't even want or don't even need. At the end of the day, how do you sift through all that noise? That noise is full of advertisements, TV commercials, even on YouTube and all kinds of other places. And while some people just need a basic vehicle for basic transportation, that's perfect. I too have been down that road, and it's great to sometimes have that low-cost vehicle that's cheap to run, cheap to maintain, and just get you from A to B. And there's lots of people, that's all they want. They just want a basic means of transportation. But there are those people that want something different, and they want something extra. And we talk about luxury cars. And why would you buy a luxury car? Well, luxury cars are meant to be something above and beyond what you don't really need. It's not an essential. And so a luxury car should essentially strike the emotions of the driver. Now, again, as I said before, sadly enough, people walk into a dealership thinking, yeah, I need a new car. And then you get a fast-talking, greasy snake oil salesman that wants to talk you into buying some weird, obscure vehicle that maybe you don't need, don't want, don't care. And you end up buying it and driving it away. Even if it is a luxury vehicle, maybe it's not what you really wanted in the first place. How do we get to a point where we buy a vehicle that we want to own and we want to love? How do we love that luxury car? Well, it's ensuring that we buy the right car in the first place. Don't let that greasy sales guy talk you into something you don't want. That should come from the heart. You really should be making these choices based on your own opinion. Now, cars like Lexus, for example, great vehicles, we all know they're super reliable, and some people just want that next level of luxury but want dependability. Well, of course, they're going to look at Lexus. They're going to look at now Genesis. These are a couple of brands that just make sense. From a ownership perspective, lower running costs, they give you some of the luxury amenities. But my question to you is, do Lexus, do BMWs, Mercedes, Audis, Maseratis, any of that stuff, Jaguars, do they strike the balance of emotion with you? Because luxury cars should be something that you love, not because of something you land into. At the end of the day, you don't need it. So how do you get to a point where you love your luxury car? You should be doing your research. You should see something on the street that just grabs you and says, oh, I want to drive that car. Take a few cars out for a drive. That's how I got to drive this F-Type R. I tried a lot of different cars, and I tried a 911 just before the Jaguar. And if you can believe it, a guy who comes from the 911 world, I've owned them for almost 24 years, I drove an F-Type R, and I was sold. I wanted the Jaguar F-Type R. But how would I know that unless I experienced it firsthand? So, in other words, I tried a few cars. I drove some Audis. Some of the RS models were a lot of fun, and they checked many of the boxes. But so did the 911s, and so do certain Lexus cars, as well as a Maserati or Alfa Romeo. There's lots of great cars out there that do sort of check a lot of those boxes. But the question is, when you're buying the car, does it create that special emotion internally with you? Does it give you that sense of, I want to look back as you leave the car and go into the house for the night, and you got to take that second, third, fourth glance back and take another look just because you're so proud, you love that car. It strikes that emotion with you. Are these cars striking the emotion? If they're not, that's not the car for you. Because while sure, it's great to own an A to B vehicle that's just dependable, rock solid, and low maintenance, that's okay. For an A to B, maybe you just got to drive downtown to the office. That's okay to drive those types of cars. Push come to shove, if you're a car guy and you decide I want to buy a luxury car, don't get sucked into the salesman telling you need that brand new BMW 750i. Don't let them tell you need that A7. Don't let them tell you that you need that IS 250. Do you make that decision yourself? It has to come from the heart, and it has to be based on your own personal emotions. That's where I come to driving the cars that I drive. Lamborghini strikes that tone with me, makes the sounds, makes the feel. It gives you that look, that great balance of perspective of looks, and that whole package just makes you love it. And your knees get shaky every time you think about going for a drive. It makes you nervous and anxious. That's a good thing. That's the butterflies. That's almost like your first blind date. You were nervous, you didn't really know what to expect, and you had anxious anticipation. Well, that's what it should be like when you're getting in that exciting car. And that's the emotion that should grab you for the car that is meant for you. After all, the F-Type does it for me. Maybe the next guy wants that new M5 or that M4. Those are great, delicious cars. And trust me, I know, I've driven them all. Maybe that Maserati, you want that Ferrari sound, but maybe you need the practicality that you get in a Maserati versus a Ferrari. Maybe it is that Lexus that does it for you. The LC500 has some really, really great looks. Maybe those are the cars, but they should strike that balance of emotion. You should love it. And how do you love it? It's by choosing your own car. Don't let somebody else decide you. Don't let that magazine cover page tell you how great it is. Drive it, experience it, and know that that's the car for you. It doesn't matter if everybody around you is telling you this. Don't get pulled into the mob mentality. Drive it for yourself, experience it, and let your emotions grab you. It is in fact a luxury car. If you need that A to B for the weekdays, that's great. But if you want to step up and buy that luxury car for the weekends, or maybe you want to daily drive your luxury car or supercar, that's entirely fine. I do. That's only because I love driving it so much I'd hate to park it all week long. I just want to get behind the wheel. I get excited for any opportunity to twist a key and go for a spin. Well, kind of twist the key. Now it's push button. But these are the cars that strike emotion. And whether you want to buy an M4 or 911 Turbo or a GT3, whatever have you, allow your heart to make the decision on the luxury car. After all, it is a luxury car, and it's not based on common sense. Common sense would tell you to buy a basic Honda Civic or a Kia that is minimal cost. That's common sense, but you're not buying common sense because you're buying a luxury car. Look at what drives you, what motivates you. The love comes from here, and that's from the experience, just like your first blind date. After all, there should be something enticing about the car, whether it's that sound or whether it's those great sets of wheels. So maybe it's that great aggressive stance, or maybe it's that flashy interior, or how about that growly exhaust note? Or maybe it's just that blistering acceleration that comes with the car. So what was it that enticed me? Well, it has to meet a bunch of criteria. For me, I have to feel that emotion. When I drive it back to back with some other great sports cars, this really connected for me. I love the looks of it. It has a really aggressive stance. It has a great set of wheels packaged in there. It has a growl that is second to none. It's the style, the quality, the feel that you get in the car. It's that exhaust sound when you blip the throttle and it gives you that roar and that rumble. It's all of those things. It's just that look of the car. That's how I came to buy the F-Type R. It's just a feel that you can't explain, and I'm sure you guys will know it when you see it. But all I can do is offer advice, everyone. If you really are looking for a luxury car, don't be buying based on a brochure, and don't buy what the salesman thinks you want to hear. Buy what your passion takes. Drive one car, drive 5 cars, drive 10 different cars. If you think that's what it takes to know what connects with you on an emotional level, I'll tell you right now, you'll know it. As soon as you drive it, you'll know it. As soon as I drove a bunch of different cars, I got behind the wheel of an F-Type R. That's the car ultimately that I wanted to buy. I knew it right away, and I think you guys will too. So I hope that helps you guys. If you're shopping for a car, and specifically a luxury car or a supercar, don't settle for what everybody else is saying or doing. You make your own choice based on your heart. That's it, everyone. The time has finally arrived. It's time to own a luxury car that you love. Cars do not have to be just an instrument from getting A to B. Cars can actually be something that you really love. The car that makes you want to grab that rag and give it that extra special wipe. Be sure to drop a line. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it, what your thoughts are. Anyway, hope to see you guys on the next one. Catch you real soon. Bye-bye.